All right, good afternoon and welcome to Resources Our People Expect. My name is Hillary Rodriguez. I am with the Rape Crisis Division at Lifelines Counseling Services.
And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kelsey Bryant, Prevention Education Coordinator with Lifelines Counseling Services.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Chance Shaw. I'm Prevention Outreach Coordinator with AIDS Alabama South.
I'm Joy Logan. I'm the Executive Director of Crittenton Youth Services, and we're delighted to be here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joan Duncan from Penelope House. I'm the Community Education Coordinator there.
Hello, everybody. My name is Corey Harvard, and I'm the Executive Director of PRISM United.
And we also have with us today Miss Amelia Bowles with Help Me Grow, also with Lifelines Counseling Services. So good afternoon to everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and share resources with our communities. We really wanted to highlight some just wonderful gems in our community, our nonprofit agencies that are just doing great work every day. And, you know, even though we're pounding the pavement, there are just still some community, you know, residents and everything that just do not know what we offer and just don't know that we're here. So we thought it was very important that we just kind of highlight and just kind of sound the alarms and let everybody know that we are absolutely here for whatever, you know, needs that they may have. Okay, so we are going to start off with Chance with AIDS Alabama as soon as he is done with this phone call, and then we'll have everybody just kind of go through and just talk about their services and everything that they provide. So while he's doing that, we'll go ahead and just jump to Crittenton Youth Services, and we'll go ahead and start with you guys. Tell us a little bit about your agency and the services that you provide to the community.
We have with us today two of our ambassadors, and they're going to tell us a little bit about our ambassador program. I think the thing about Crittenton, we're over 100 years old. That makes us awfully old. But we try to stay very innovative. We try to really work a lot with all ages of youth because that keeps us knowledgeable about what's going on with our youth. Our goals are big. One is to make sure that we teach the skills that bring up the level of the child's academics. And we're going to be telling you about those skills in just a few minutes. Another thing is we want our kids to be free of having to worry about being a victim. So we teach them victimology and what they can do to protect themselves. We also want them to learn, and this is big, to communicate when they have troublesome feelings, when they've got a problem. Have an adult, a person in your life that you can talk to and feel comfortable. And the last thing is that we want more than anything for them to be able to change their behavior, control their behavior, adapt their behavior to wherever they are. And that's hard even for adults sometimes. But the skills that we teach, one of my ambassadors will be telling you about. But we've been in the public schools since probably 1993. We are now so excited because we're reaching out to the Catholic schools. We're reaching out to more of the private schools. And that's been a long road for us. So it's just exciting to think we're this close to being there. I think the most exciting thing about Crittenton, it is for all of my staff, is the ambassador program. We have 42 juniors and seniors. Last year we had 53 from 14 schools, high schools. Getting to know them is the biggest excitement that we have for teaching younger children. And Will, and I'll let Will introduce himself, he's going to tell you how they're selected. Will, and we'll move over here a little bit.
Hello, my name is Will Messenger. I'm an ambassador from Baker High School. I'm currently a senior, and I was nominated by my school because of my strong moral values and my desire to positively impact my younger peers. I competed with 80 to 100 other juniors and seniors from around the area to have a spot within Crittenton Youth Services. And after being chosen, we went through training in a seminar with the other ambassadors to learn how to go into a classroom or to go remote and teach 6th and 7th graders how to do certain skills that Joy mentioned earlier.
Okay, Jemiah.
Hi, I'm Jemiah Addison from Mary G. Montgomery High School, and Crittenton Youth Services and the ambassadors are dedicated to protecting our youth from violence and building social, emotional, and mental skills. The topics we teach are understanding violence, types and causes of violence, handling types and causes of violence, handling healthy relationships, handling fear, anxiety, and anger, resolving conflicts, dealing with unwanted touches, how to make safe decisions, and other topics.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm excited because I guess I stay excited over these kids, but this is their first time to be able to be an ambassador talking about what they do. Just real quickly, want to tell you that I'm going to ask them, Will and Jemiah, why did they think that this program would be something for juniors and seniors to choose as maybe one of their extra activities? Will?
One of the reasons that juniors or seniors might choose this as an extracurricular activity that they may want to participate in is that it gives them skills to help deal with problems in the future that they may not have otherwise, by getting out into situations where they need to use certain skills, like handling anger or handling tough subjects, because as you grow into adulthood and you become a college student and an adult, you need to learn how to handle certain topics and handle yourself in a proper manner, and the training that we get and the experience that we get really helps you understand that and helps you form those strong traits. Yeah.
Okay. Jemiah, same question. Why would you advise somebody to try out for ambassador?
Because it's like it helps build your leadership skills, and that's important for colleges and to get scholarships, etc. And it helps. It's a good feeling helping other children, deal with their feelings and learning to deal with your own feelings. And I think that's a good thing to do.
I do too. One final something new that we've got, and we're trying it out this year, and we hope it's as much excitement we actually are establishing a junior board, and they will fall under our board of directors, and they can volunteer. They're former ambassadors from years back, closer years, that have worked with us, and they actually meet once a month. And what I love is they give us suggestions on what can we do different with the program. How can we change the program to better affect what we want to accomplish? In fact, last time we met, our first time, is they said, okay, Ms. Logan, we're in groups from our high school. Great, we love that. But can we move to more of the middle schools that work with different schools? I said, yeah. So this year, they're in groups from their high school, but they're also going to get to go to at least 8 different schools, even though we go to 12. But that's something exciting. To see them, to know what they're doing, makes you so happy and so proud that you were even allowed to get to know them. So we're wishing you a great day from Crittenton. The ambassadors, thank you. And we're excited about hearing about other agencies. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joy, and the ambassadors. Great information. So next we will have Chance Shaw with AIDS Alabama.
And Joe, I'm going to share. Oh, it says disabled. I've actually got a little PowerPoint we put together for this. If you can allow me to share my screen.
She's gonna have to, you got it?
I got it.
There we
If
go.
everybody can see.
Yes.
All right, awesome. So as we said, my name is Chance Shaw. I'm Prevention Outreach Coordinator here at AIDS Alabama South. What my job primarily entails is I go into various places in the community over our service area, which is 12 counties, about 12,000 square miles in Southeast Alabama. And I go into these different places like community centers, like substance abuse treatment centers, like our high schools, all of those different places. And I teach about not just HIV education, but now hepatitis C, STI education. We're branching out into some other education like that. But a little bit about our agency. We are the only AIDS service organization providing essential life-sustaining services in those 12 counties I mentioned. And you can see them listed here on the screen. People can come to us for HIV testing, for care after diagnosis, and we really strive to treat everyone with dignity and respect, and above all, compassion. Our mission is we're dedicated to eliminating new HIV infections and improving the health and well-being of people living with HIV through inclusive and empowering support services and HIV prevention education. And we do this with the vision of ending the HIV epidemic in Southwest Alabama. And our goal is to reduce it to 0 new infections, as well as 0 stigma surrounding HIV. Now, how we help is if someone comes to us, if they are HIV positive, they're assigned a caseworker or a social worker who connects them with care. They connect them with support services, all of the different things that they need to successfully live with HIV, to get to an undetectable status, and to prevent that spread to others. Now, on my side of the agency, we also, as I mentioned, we do that prevention education that teaches people how to prevent the spread, how if they are negative, how they can prevent contracting the virus themselves, and if they're positive, how they can prevent spreading it to other people. We do this with educational presentations, with information like this that's up on the screen. We go in and talk about what is HIV, what is AIDS, the difference between the two, how they're diagnosed. And you can see up on the screen here, it goes into what is HIV, what is AIDS. We then go into things like how the virus is transmitted, how it is not transmitted, and a lot of the different myths and misconceptions surrounding it. We also teach, one of the big things we teach is U equals U, or undetectable equals untransmittable. And what that means is that if you are a person living with HIV and you are in treatment, you're in care and taking your medication properly, that you should be able to get to something called undetectable status. It's where most modern medical tests cannot find copies of the HIV virus in your blood, and it renders the HIV virus untransmittable. The big thing about that is if you get to that undetectable status, you can't pass that virus to anyone else. It's at this point, all of the studies, all of the information we have about it says that if you get to that undetectable status, it is a 100% chance that you cannot transmit the virus. With that, there's also other ways that we teach about preventing the spread as well. Things like PrEP, and we're actually excited to announce that we're going to be opening our very own in-house PrEP clinic on October 20th. It'll be from 4 to 8 p.m. open to anyone who wants to come in, and it will be free. People can come in, they can see our providers here at the agency. They'll be seen by the doctor, they'll leave with a prescription for PrEP, and they can also, we can link them with one of our ship-to-home pharmacies, which gets them either discounted or free medication, depending on their financial status and their insurance status. And we always advise, you know, whenever we do presentations for HIV 101, anything like that, the question is asked, who should get tested? Well, it's an easy answer. Everyone. Everyone should get tested between the ages of 13 to 64. HIV is a virus that doesn't discriminate between age, sex, genders, sexual orientation, gender identity. It does not discriminate, and anyone who is sexually active can be at risk for contracting HIV. You know, going past that, the tests that we currently offer at the agency, just on the regular basis, is the Insti Biolytical HIV test, which is a finger stick test, and it will give you a result as far as positive or negative within 1 minute. And it can detect the HIV virus within 17 days after transmission. Another commonly offered test is the R.O.P.E hepatitis C antibody test, which is a finger stick test as well, and can let us know if you have hepatitis C within about 5 minutes. Now, our other testing, which is the newest, is chlamydia, gonorrhea, and trichomoniasis testing. Now, unfortunately, those aren't instant tests. We do have to send those off to a lab, and it takes about 3 to 7 days to get those results back. But we do offer that testing for free, and it's as simple as a swab or a urine sample, and you can find out if you have any of those, and we can link you to treatment for anything that we test for. In most cases, we can link you to either free or very low cost, depending on income, treatment for any of these things. Now, if you'd like to get tested with us, typically we're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can walk in and get tested. We are practicing social distancing, so masks are required, and we only allow one client in the lab and one in the waiting room at a time. We cycle through those as we get everybody in and get everything sanitized between. If you want to call ahead to verify our hours for that day or that week, you can call either of these numbers on the screen. And there's also our address there if you just want to drop by during those hours. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, which is our newest program here at AIDS Alabama South, and it's TARP. It's Teen Advocates for Risk Prevention. It's going to be almost a little bit like the ambassador program Joy was talking about, but what we are primarily focusing on is sexual health and sex education for teenagers in Mobile and Baldwin County high schools. We've recognized the need that a lot of the sex education that these teens are getting is severely lacking in the state of Alabama. And this is designed to train advocates to go back to their communities and spread this information, the correct information about HIV, about HIV prevention, about PrEP, about other STIs, about the services and things available to them as teens, and then also go into how to advocate for their communities better, as well as the laws surrounding reproductive health for teenagers, as far as what they do and don't need, parental consent, or anything like that to access. We're going to be kicking this off actually tomorrow with an Instagram account that any teen from a high school in Mobile and Baldwin County can link with us on that Instagram account. Let us know that they're interested in joining. And right now we're going to be meeting digitally twice a month, starting at the end of October. And you can see some of the topics we'll have for these meetings, those twice a month meetings starting in November. We're going to do 2 a month, with the first meeting being a topic for discussion, where we'll bring in an expert from the local area on that subject, with the second meeting being a discussion, essentially a student-led meeting about their questions, their concerns, their thoughts, and how they can implement these in their daily life. Yep. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us here at the agency. My email address and my office number is up on the screen, as well as you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and link with us there. You can interact with us, send us messages, find out information about the agency, anything like that that you need.
Oh man, thanks so much, Chance. I definitely learned a few things in just that short amount of time, some things that I didn't know. And I'm sure I am not alone. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, thank you. That was great. So we'll just kind of keep the ball rolling here, and we'll move on to Lifeline's counseling services. And Lifelines, we kind of like to call ourselves the best kept secret because we have been around a long time, not quite as long as Crittenton. But we have been around since about 1958, and I believe starting in the schools probably in the 90s, somewhere along the lines of Crittenton as well. But we are a multi-service agency, so we cover an array of different types of services. Our mission is that we help families and individuals lead more productive lives, whether that's through counseling, assistance, referrals, or education. So I'm going to kind of give a rundown of our different departments, and I have 2 ladies, Miss Amelia Bowles and Miss Hillary Rodriguez, that are going to jump in and talk a little bit more about a couple of those departments and services. But starting with our main office is where all of the counseling services take place. So whether that is individual counseling, marriage and family, those who have experienced some type of loss, so grief counseling, trauma, just anything that you could think of. We have very highly qualified therapists that are able to jump in and help those individuals with their counseling needs. They also implement court mandated groups. So we have individuals that come in for different things that they may have been charged with within court, and the courts mandate that they come through us for group counseling. So that's another thing. We also have consumer credit counselors. So our financial counselors. I mean, how many of us could use some resources on budgeting? Those that are trying to buy their first home, their first car, just anything that you could think of financially. We have some counselors that are definitely qualified in those areas to help. Student loans. How many of us are still paying student loans? I mean, just a lot of different things that a lot of us professionally and in the community can really relate to. So then there is the 211 call center that many of us have been working in since the pandemic and Hurricane Sally, just a lot of different things that we've experienced that we've kind of had to work through with our community residents. So the 211 call center is an information and referral center. So we have callers that call in with different types of needs, from bill payment assistance to voting polls. I mean, just anything there and in between. And of course, during the pandemic, we've had a lot of people calling in with questions about the coronavirus and where to get tested. Some people have been out of work due to the virus, and so they need different types of assistance. So, and I think sometimes callers call in thinking that we are the ones to hand out those needs. Well, we are the people to point you in the right direction of the people that can help you. So And the call center covers 8 different counties. So a lot of people, just like Crittenden and just like Aids, Alabama, we reach a lot of individuals and families. And then there's the Education and Outreach Division. And Amelia and Hillary are going to talk a little bit more about some of those areas. But within Education and Outreach, we provide and implement violence prevention programs to the community and to the schools. So much like, you know, our professionals that are on today, we talk a lot about things that are very taboo. So whether it's HIV and AIDS or domestic violence, sexual assault, just a lot of different things that most of our youth would not get a chance to talk about if we did not go into the schools, into the community and talk about those things. So things like healthy and unhealthy relationships, sexual assault, conflict resolution, anger management, just a lot of the different things that maybe some caregivers or parents just may not have time or have the skill. We're able to kind of bridge that gap between, you know, school and the community and home, and talk a lot about those different things with the youth and within the community. Another topic that we also cover is suicide prevention, which of course is, you know, it's not something that that people readily want to talk about, but it is very important, and we see those numbers increasing every day. So those that program is also available for the schools and the community to talk about suicide prevention and awareness with the youth and adults. So so we're just asking the community to just really utilize all of these resources. So Amelia, if you will talk a little bit about Help Me Grow in our infant and child mental health programs.
Sure. Well, good morning, and thank you for giving me a few minutes, Kelsey, to share. We do have a lot of great programs at Lifelines. I'm so very proud of our agency, and what I get to do is just one small part of it. We actually, just a few months ago, merged 2 of our programs, and with the Help Me Grow, there's also the Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health program that have merged to into a division now of Lifelines, where we focus on the infant and early childhood mental health. And so we have myself and Deanne Slavsky that work exclusively with Help Me Grow. We are care coordinators for this region. We serve about 8 counties. Mm-hmm. And what our job is to support anyone who cares for children between birth and 8 years old, and helping them to monitor their child's development and growth, and making sure that they're reaching those milestones when they should, and what to look for, and directing them to the resources in our area that might be able to help in the case that a child might need some intervention type services. We also do free developmental screenings up to the age of 6.5. So we're also able to provide that to do the monitoring through our program. And, you know, parents and caregivers of those children are welcome to stay with us for support as long as needed. But the goal is to get them to connected to the help that their children need. And so it's a very rewarding program, because I feel like on our end, we get to be proactive and versus responding, like a lot of our programs within our agency are there to support when there's a crisis. Hopefully we can get in there through the Outreach and Education Division and get some resources in hand with our parents and our providers to help better support our children and make them ready and prepared as they get older and start experiencing more things in our community. So that's, you know, our role is simple. It's free to the community. Anyone can connect to us. There's no wrong way to reach us, but the best way probably is to just reach out to our Lifelines website and visit our page, which is under construction right now, but there is a contact number on there for me if you'd like to reach out just to find out more about Help Me Grow, or you have any families in mind, or maybe your own children, grandchildren, people that you know. Word of mouth is just a great way to get our name out there, get our programs out there. As you know, with the Help Me Grow, we're mostly focusing on those general milestones like communication, fine and gross motor skills, making sure children are getting, everything they need to keep them up to where they should be typically developing. And we also do something in the social emotional realm. We also have a screener that helps to detect any delay in development in that area, which kind of connects to our other program in our division, which is the infant and early childhood mental health consultants. And so we have two in our area right now, Alicia Richardson and Holly Cooper. Holly works with the Head Start programs in Mobile County, and I think a couple of other counties, not quite sure, but she's mostly with our Head Start preschool programs, and Alicia Richardson works primarily with our child care centers, home day care programs, and their role in supporting our families that care for children in our programs that care for children is to provide consultation if there are any concerns based on those mental health or behavioral type needs that children might have. That and the information for both of our programs is not there just it's there also, it's for parent education. We provide a lot of tips and activities that families can try in home or in their setting with their children, but they're not diagnostic. Neither of our programs offer any diagnostic approach or clinical approach. It's consultation, it's counseling, and then it's connection. So that's primarily what our role is, what our job is. We're really excited to be a part of Lifelines and feel like that we're just another link in the chain of great resources and support in our community, and hope that you all connect with us and get your families connected to our services. And thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you so much, Amelia. Great information. A lot of stuff, of course, with Lifelines, things are changing so much, so we have to definitely keep each other in the loop. And now Hillary Rodriguez is going to talk a little bit more about the Rape Crisis Center and their services.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelsey, and hello again. I wish I would have done a PowerPoint, not necessarily because I need them, but just because I love them, and Chances was really awesome. So at the Rape Crisis Center, our staff provides 24/7 assistance and support for survivors of sexual assault as well as their loved ones. And we're able to do this by having our 24/7 crisis line where people can call any time of day or night and speak to one of our advocates. We are also there with them in the hospital as they have the forensic collection exam done. We're also there for them during law enforcement interviews if they choose to report it to police. We're there for grand jury and trial. We are there involved as much as they would like for us to be. We also like to make it a point to say that we are not there to push anybody in one direction or another. We are simply there to walk alongside of you and give you all the information and resources that are available to you and help you make the right decision for yourself. And another thing that I really, really love about our agency is whenever somebody encounters a trauma, the trauma in itself is really difficult and complex to deal with. But then you have to think about all of the other elements outside of the trauma that could be affected, whether that's losing a job or housing, schoolwork, that sort of thing. It can really reach out to all the other parts of our lives. So our goal is not merely just to get people past the point of trauma where they're feeling okay again, but helping them move towards a whole, healthy, and happy life where they're thriving. And the way that we do that is we all work together here at the agency. Like Kelsey and Amelia were saying, we have so many resources and divisions available, and we all work very closely together. So we help identify other issues that you might be struggling with and get you connected to resources and individuals that can help you. So that way you are able to focus on your trauma and on your healing and being able to move forward. And in addition to that, we also train and supervise community members to become victim advocates so that they're able to respond to those calls to the crisis line and be there at the hospital so we can ensure that 24/7 coverage. And not only is it great for if you're in college and you're going into social work or counseling or anything like that, but the skills that you learn being a victim advocate are applicable to every other part of your life. When you're working with individuals, it teaches you to work with people on an individual basis and to see them and meet them where they are. It also looks really great on resumes for people who are wanting to move forward in their careers. So that's also another bonus of becoming a victim advocate. I think that's probably about it. I know there's so much that we do, but if you have any questions, or if you're interested in becoming a victim advocate, or if you yourself or a loved one has been affected by sexual violence, I just want to let you know that we're here for you, and you can reach out to us anytime, and we're always more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that you have. So thank you so much, Kelsey, and it's been wonderful hearing about all these other awesome agencies.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, Hillary. And just know that, you know, all of these are programs that are under the umbrella of Lifeline. So I hope we didn't miss anything, but it's very easy to sometimes with so many different programs. But thank you so much. All right, and we're going to move right along to Miss Joan Duncan with Penelope House.
Okay, thank you, Kelsey. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Okay, good deal. So I'm so happy to be here with you today. And like Kelsey said, I'm Joan Duncan from Penelope House. I have worked at Penelope House for 19 years next month. Penelope House is the local domestic violence shelter for Mobile, Washington, Clark, and Choctaw counties. We have been around for over 41 years. We were the first shelter in the whole state of Alabama for domestic violence and the fourth in the whole country. And when we came about back in 1979, it was really groundbreaking because back then, I mean, obviously there were only 3 other shelters and people didn't and still don't really understand domestic violence and how dangerous it is and that it's a choice. So we are here to protect and serve victims who are being abused by their husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend. And if that is happening, then they can come here. We're in a secret place because it's such a dangerous situation to be in. And they can stay with us for as long as they need to get away from that bad situation. And they can bring their children with them. That's so important because we all know, well, not all of us, hopefully after this, more people will understand and know this, but it's caused by learning it. You grow up in a home where it's going on and that's what causes you to do it. That's the cause of domestic violence. It's not caused by alcohol or drugs. Or mental illness. Of course, those things can always make issues and problems worse, but at the core of it, it's learned behavior. You learn it from your family member or someone you've grown up with or somebody you've hung out with. We have a lot of services here, thank goodness. We have the shelter, of course, which is our #1 service, which is the most important because we keep people from being murdered by their partner. But we also, we have our crisis line number, and our crisis line number is answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. Even during Christmas and all those other holidays, we're here answering the phones. One of the other most important one of our services that I am partial to because it's my program is the community education program. And I have done that for 18 of the years I've been here. It's so wonderful because you can go out to the schools and talk to these children and let them know. Pre-K through 12th grade, we talk to them and anybody else that'll listen. So we go to colleges and churches and all the community events that we can get to. But to talk to children about domestic violence. And we don't just leave it at domestic violence. We talk to them about bullying and anger. And then once they're 7th through 12th graders, we talk to them about healthy relationships because we do know that teenagers are in really unhealthy relationships. A lot of times, up to 60% of them before they graduate from high school will be in some kind of dating violence situation, which is very scary. We see about between 25 and 30,000 kids a year. We're in public and private schools. It's really sad and scary and hard with this pandemic because we know our babies are out there and they're not getting their needs met. I've been doing a lot of Zoom calls with them, which is great, but still not the same because they're still, you know, most of them are still at home. A lot of kids have not gone back to school actually in person. So we know that's a scary thing for neglect and abused children. That's very worrisome. We also have our court advocacy program, and I did that for a year and I loved it. It's a wonderful program. So if you have charges against your partner, husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend, a court advocate from Penelope House will be with you through that whole process, all during your court hearing, everything that you need, letting you know what to expect, getting court police if you need them for security, even telling you maybe what to wear if you've never been to court before, but really being a support system for you there, because we all know this court, even if you've done nothing wrong, is still a scary place. And if you're in there and you don't know what's going to happen, and here's this person that you've been in love with at one time, or maybe you still are, and they're in the same courtroom with you, and you have to testify against them or stand there while a police officer talks about what they did to you. It can be a very daunting experience. So we have people there with you the whole time. We also have our transitional housing program. So if you go through our outreach services, or you go through the actual in-house shelter program, you can go to one of our transitional living communities and stay there for 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, we'll sign that lease over into your name. But before that, for those first 2 years, we pay for it. So it gives you a chance to stand on your own 2 feet, help you with your kids. You're still coming back to the shelter for counseling services every week, but we're there to kind of support you still and to keep you safe. And we also have our community our outreach coordinator that is here to do counseling, free counseling. All of our services are free. Every single thing we do is free. So if you don't want to come into shelter, but you need the counseling, you can come in and get free counseling. So I think that's really beneficial. One of the things that we're always excited about is October. So you can tell I've got purple on. I always wear purple. Here's my purple sticker for the kids that says kids are special. And that's what we put on our little babies at school. And that has our crisis line number on it. So we give it to them and they take it home and give it to their grown-up, and their grown-up can call us if they're having situations where they're being abused. But October is a special month to us because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So if you see purple, we always have a special project that we do during October, and every year it's different. This year we're doing bird houses. So if you're in at any agency, I think we probably took one to Lifelines because we partner with them a lot. But if you don't have one, I'm going to bring you one. And we've been getting some of our partner agencies or just people in the community that support us to decorate our birdhouses and put them out everywhere just to bring awareness to domestic violence. We just do a lot of different things in October to bring awareness to it because it's one of those things that's 100% preventable, 100%. Nobody has to do this to their partner. No one has to. So I should have done a PowerPoint as well. I didn't even think about that. Chance, you just like rocked it, guy. And but our crisis line number is 251-342-8994. So if anybody needs us or needs our services, they can call that number and get the help that they need. So thank you all very much. I think this has been a wonderful event today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Joan. And before everyone leaves, after Corey speaks, we're just going to give like a little run through and give our websites or our contact information where people can reach us real quick before we sign off. All right, Corey Harvard with Prism United. Yes, yes.
So Joan was talking about the month of October and how wonderful it is, partly because of all the things going on at Penelope House, which those were amazing things, Joan. But also, I want to add to that October is my birthday month. So I can confirm that it is the best month. So thanks for the affirmation, Joan. So Prism is a pretty young organization. It's been around really. We became a 501c3 in the latter part of 2018, but we've been doing this work for a good bit longer than that, really for about 5 years. And it just so happened that in 2015, ABC News did this big expose piece on an ex-gay operation in Mobile that was holding over 30-some youth against their will to try to change their sexual orientation. And even though that's an extreme example of the kind of things that happen down here, the reality is that the data holds out this picture of what LGBTQ youth face on a regular basis, and especially in places like the South. So this is national data, but for instance, LGBTQ youth are more likely to face things like suicidality than their straight and cisgender peers, up to the tune of like 4 times the amount. LGBTQ youth account for up to 40% of all unaccompanied homeless minors, even though LGBTQ youth only make up like probably 6 to 10% of the entire youth population. And a little data point that a lot of people don't know about is LGBTQ youth who face higher levels of victimization see 0.3 points lower on their GPAs. So a 2.8 versus a 3.1, you know, that's the difference between getting into the college you really want to get into. That's the difference between getting a scholarship. So these are real life, long-term socioeconomic impacts that LGBTQ youth face because of the kind of things that they go through. And we saw the need for this organization anecdotally. And since we've launched, we've heard from parents all the way over in Biloxi, Mississippi, up to Monroeville, Alabama, and over in Pensacola, Florida, just looking for services for LGBTQ youth. When we got this off the ground 5 years ago, before we were PRISM, it was really a kind of learn by doing experience. And over the span of the 3 years that we were doing this, the youth really gave us all the information we needed to build this. And the more that we heard from parents and the more that we heard from the youth, we got the feeling that this needed to be something bigger than just a support group for LGBTQ high schoolers, that it really owed the resources and the people power and the time and energy to be an organization. So let me see my notes here. I also didn't prepare a presentation. Chance, you win the day. So anyway, one of the things that we saw in the years leading up to becoming PRISM was a lot of kids coming up to us and telling us what they wanted. And we decided early on that the best way to kind of craft this whole organization, that our governing ethos would really be about what the kids want. And so on a regular basis, we put out surveys and we get a temperature check on how are you feeling about our facilitators and how would you like us to tweak our programming and what would you like to see us do here at PRISM. And they were not short on things that they wanted. Early on, we would bring in junk food for them to eat because that's what you give high schoolers. And it turns out that LGBTQ youth are just enlightened creatures. So they would come back to us and be like, we would really like to eat healthy foods. And so we got in touch with the community and we built a little volunteer meal service. And it's been lovely how much the community has gotten involved to support PRISM. They also asked for access to LGBTQ young adult literature because there's not a lot of literature that features LGBTQ people, especially as like main characters. And so we put together an LGBTQ library that's available at our high school service, our high school support group. And we've done a number of other things just based on their input to us. So presently, PRISM is providing 3 main services. We have our PRISM Teens program, our PRISM Preteens program, and our PRISM Families program. Our PRISM Teens program is the one that we've been running since the beginning. It follows an activity-based curriculum that we've been designing since the beginning. And that program will incorporate into its activities things like conversations about intersectionality, about LGBTQ history. We will also be sure to include maybe tools in our activities that build self-esteem, that develop a sense of community so that youth who are going through things know that they're not alone. We also offer game days and event nights. And so event nights are especially fun for us. We try to provide almost a college flavor experience. So we might do an open mic where we get our volunteers to come in and they string up lights and we might bring in coffee drinks and the kids will come and they'll perform their poetry or their original songs. Again, it's really a community building experience, but it also gives kids a chance to externalize what they're going through, right? We'll do things like costume karaoke and PJ movie parties and holiday events like holiday dinners. We're preparing something for Halloween right now, but of course the pandemic makes that a little bit more complicated. We also provide for our team group some on-site services, and these are really services provided by other organizations. So AIDS Alabama South has come and visited us a couple times. We love you guys, Chance. We're so happy it's possible to provide free HIV testing that's discreet and available to our kids. We've also brought the Mobile County Health Department on to provide comprehensive STI testing. Both AIDS Alabama South and the Mobile County Health Department will provide usually some sex ed when they come too. So not only are we providing the tools for these kids to get in the habit of making sure that they're safe, they're also learning how to responsibly make decisions about what to do with their bodies. And we also provide a leadership initiative for our high schoolers so that if they want to volunteer with PRISM, or if they want to find other ways to get involved with the community, we can help connect them with those opportunities. We have our PRISM preteens and our PRISM families programs as well. They were launched just last year, but we have some real talent who are developing the curriculum and leading those support groups. Our preteens program is a virtue-based curriculum. And so every couple months, we might be hitting a different virtue like courage or wisdom or community or love, right? And what we've done is we've teamed up with a local artist. His name's Sean Herman. He owns Serpents of Bienville in Mobile, and he is making custom-made virtue badges for us. And I know there's one close to me, but it would take too much time to find it. There are these really cool, like colorful virtue badges that we get to give to the kids once they finish each unit. So it's something for them to work for. We also do badge ceremonies where they get to kind of play games at the end of each unit. We'll focus on a lot of stress and anger management strategies because at that age we see a lot of kids who struggle with that, especially when they have the added pressures of maybe harassment at school because of LGBTQ identity. And then for our PRISM Families program, we provide support and some education about the concerns of LGBTQ youth to parents. So we'll hear a lot from parents, especially right now, parents of maybe trans kids, kids who are having really difficult conversations about their gender identity, who call us and say, we don't know what to do. And so sometimes those kids end up in our preteen program, but the parents will end up in our families program where they get to talk mostly to other parents who maybe are at similar places on their journey, or maybe had kids 20 or 30 years ago and have been through the whole process, to give those parents a chance to connect with other people and build community and find support. And we'll also bring in special guests onto that program. So for instance, we've brought in medical professionals to talk to maybe parents of high schoolers about trans adolescent health and what they can anticipate and ways to be careful and thoughtful and safe about the process of supporting their kid. All of our gatherings, so for all of those programs, we have facilitators who are trained and vetted, and we provide regular training workshops for our facilitators. So for instance, Lifelines has come in to provide suicide awareness and prevention training a couple times actually for PRISM. And our facilitators, we try to really foster that same sense of community that we do with our kids. The kids have the opportunity to evaluate the facilitators and the leadership staff. This is a part of our 360-degree evaluation process. We're really trying to foster an environment that's not hierarchical. It's really horizontal, where everybody's voice matters, especially the youth. Presently, because of the pandemic, we're providing virtual gatherings. So we have, for the teens, we have hangout days where they just get together and they chat and might do an activity. That's led by our friends over at PRISM Fairhope. We have event days. So event days virtually would look like maybe like Jackbox games, or the kids are really into Among Us right now. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. It's this game where like one person is this imposter and everybody else is trying to figure out who it is that they can play on their electronic device. And we also have a weekly D&D session, which is actually the most popular thing we provide right now for the teens at PRISM. And we are providing gatherings virtually for our preteens and family groups. A few other things outside of our support groups, we also provide safe space training. So we've gone to Spring Hill College and the University of South Alabama to provide some essential training, maybe for students and for teachers, so that they're creating a safe space for LGBTQ youth where they are in their practice. We've provided this training for Lifelines Counseling, and this training is available to businesses and clinics, faith communities. We've gone to a church before. So if you're hearing this and that's something you feel like you would benefit from, please reach out to us. We also collaborate with GSAs, those are gay straight alliances, in the local school system to talk to youth and bring these services to them in the school system. And we're here to help youth create GSAs. So there's a lot of data about the benefits of having a GSA in a high school. Like, it cuts down the rate of suicidal ideation, some reports say, by like 50%, just to have the presence of a GSA in a high school. So it's important to us to help make that possible and make those safe spaces in our public school system. Finally, here we do referral services. This is a huge part of what we do. So when parents or kids are looking for mental health professionals or they're looking for medical health professionals, we can kind of help them cut through and get right to professionals who have experience with and knowledge in LGBTQ issues. So important in an area like this. And the last little shout out I'm going to make here is that we're working really hard to put together Prism Prom, which is going to be the biggest LGBTQ high school prom that South Alabama has ever seen. It's something we had to postpone because of the pandemic, but it's something that we'll pick right back up when this pandemic's over. And we think it could just be one heck of a time for our local LGBTQ high schoolers who oftentimes don't get to have the normal prom experience because they have to adapt to the expectations maybe of their area, right? And so we can make that possible for them, and we are going to do that. And that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Corey. And thank you for all of you that, to all of you who have come to spend time with us today. So to, all of our school counselors, our school administrators, our different community agencies, churches, youth leaders. We know that things look very, very different right now, but we are still here and we still want you to reach out. We still want to, be able to talk to your students, your parents, whomever. All of these services are very much so needed. We know that they're needed. Even if we can't come out and be with you in person, we want you to reach out. Don't think that the pandemic has stopped us, because it has definitely not stopped us. And we know that all of the issues in the community have not stopped either. So please, please reach out. And so real quickly, we're going to go through and let you know how to reach us, whether it's by our agency website, telephone office number, our email address. So for Lifelines, if you would like any type of community education within schools, community, churches, colleges, it does not matter. You can reach me at kbryant@lifelinesmobile.org. And then you can also please visit our website at lifelinesmobile.org.
And for the 24/7 rape crisis hotline, you can reach us at 251-473-7273. And again, that is 24/7, and the number is 251-473-7273.
And please remember, you don't have to be here in Mobile. Most of us cover multiple counties. So we're talking about Mobile, Clark, Washington, just Choctaw, just a number of different, I know I left some off, but the 211 call center covers 8, even more than the outreach covers. So please, please reach out. Even if you're not in Mobile County, please reach out.
Piggybacking on that, we actually cover an even larger area. As I said, 12 counties. That's Mobile, Escambia, Baldwin, Butler, Clark, Choctaw, Conecuh, Wilcox, Marengo, Monroe, Covington, and Washington counties. We cover we're one of the largest coverage areas for an ASO in the U.S. So if you have any questions, if you have information, if you need education for your community, for your organization, anything like that, don't
Unmute yourself, Chance. We missed the last part of that.
Oh, sorry. It decided to unmute me or to mute me. All right. As I said, my email address is chance.shaw@aidsalabama.org, or you can call me. My office number is 251-289-0638. That was 251-289-0638. And you can reach us to set up anything you'd like as far as education, testing, any of those type of events.
Thank you so much, Chance. And Joy? Unmute yourself. We're doing good. Just hold on. Unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm
give
sorry.
us your contact.
Can you hear her now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you. What's your contact information?
Oh, okay. Can I say one quick thing?
Mhm.
I have never learned so much. Thank you, everybody that spoke today. You answered so many questions and things that I had no idea existed. Thank you. Contact number is 639-0004. We have a Facebook page where you can actually see our children teaching in the classrooms, and it's Crittenton Youth Services on Facebook.
Thank you so much, Joy.
Thank y'all. That was great.
Thank you so much. And Joan?
Okay, there I am.
I love it.
If you need to get in touch with me, you can call 251-459-6670. That's my direct line to my office. If you need to get in touch with a crisis counselor 24/7, it's 251-342-8994. And
right,
thank you all. It was great today.
Thank you, Joan. And Corey?
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be with all of y'all today. If you're in need of support or might just have more questions about our services, you can check us out at prismunited.org. You can reach us directly at info@prismunited.org by email, or you can call us at 251-219-8441 and leave us a message and we'll get right back with you. This was a real treat, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Corey. And I knew I was going to forget something. I forgot my own office number, y'all. So my office number is 251-431-5100. And again, to everybody represented, every agency represented here today, we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate everybody, and the work that you were doing. We know that you were doing great work. So we're just going to keep going. Keep going. So thank y'all so, so much. And we will see you next time. All right. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.